So I'm here in Death Valley in California in the Mesquite Dunes, or Mesquite Dunes, not too sure how to pronounce it. But yeah, and I'm hiking around to try and find a sunset image. I went from the Redwoods and I tried to go into Sequoia National Park, but it was closed because of all the fires. So I did end up going to Kings Canyon National Park, but it wasn't the best conditions just because there was so much smoke and haze or clouds. But yeah, it was not good conditions for photographs, but I did end up getting a nice cloud inversion picture right at the end as I was leaving the park of Kings Canyon, which was pretty cool. So now I'm just hiking amongst the dunes here and just trying to find a spot where I can take an image for sunset. So Death Valley is the hottest place on earth, but today it's not too bad. It's only like not even 70 degrees. It is October, so it's getting to be winter, so it makes it pretty nice. But yeah, I'm just hiking in the dunes trying to find a composition, and it's kind of challenging because there's so many footprints everywhere. So it's really hard to find a dune that hasn't been trotted on already. Well, let's just keep going and I'll keep looking. It's also pretty cool because there's actually a lot of clouds here, which Death Valley being in the desert doesn't get many clouds. At least I believe so. So hopefully I'll be able to get some interesting images. And it looks like we will still get a sunset because it's kind of partly cloudy where the sun's gonna set. Well, I've walked here pretty far and there's still a bunch of footprints here. People just walk in pretty far. But what I'm looking for is a dune that's facing the west on the left and kind of leading straight into the north, because I want that light to catch it on the left side to make for a pretty nice image. And I'd like to find the top of a dune to kind of be a leading line. But I don't know, I'll just keep wandering around and seeing if I can find something. I mean, I'll definitely be able to find something, but right now I'm just trying to get away from people and get away from these dang footprints. See, like this here is exactly what I'm looking for. How it kind of has this leading line up to the peak of the dune and the mountains in the background. But unfortunately, someone walked right up the crest of this dune. So there's footprints all over and it's not a fine defined line. So it won't show up too good in a picture because you'll see all the footprints and it'll just kind of ruin it with the human presence there. So I've reached the end of the dunes. Then it just opens up into barren desert, which is still pretty cool. But yeah, I'm just gonna keep slowly working my way around and try and find something right before sunset. We still have about 45 minutes to an hour, so I still have time. But yeah, I don't want to waste too much time because I do want to set up and get a nice composition locked in. So I did end up finding a couple compositions, and I have one straight in front of me and to the right because I'm not sure what the light's going to do tonight, where it's going to catch in the sky, so I'm overly prepared. But yeah, I'll kind of go over these compositions real quick. So this is the first composition here. What we have is we have this leading line that breaks the sand dunes to the left and the right, and it kind of leads you into some dunes on the right, and then desert on the left and mountain in the background. So pretty simple composition, but I also made sure to put that mountain peak right there. As you can see, it's smack dab in the middle because I wanted that to kind of be the center point, that peak. And then for the second composition here, another pretty simple image. I just have these two bushes to the right And then it's hard to see, but there's this texture on these dunes here, and then it kind of works its way up to these mountains in the background. This second image is all about layering, because there's no leading line, and I'm kind of more zoomed in. That's what I think I'm zoomed in at. I'm zoomed in at 78 millimeters, while the other one I'm opened up all the way at 24 millimeters. And I am using my 24 to 120 lens just so I can zoom in like this. And then I do have to be careful with where I put my video tripod, because I was kind of putting it in front of the camera and recording back, and I don't want to make any dents in the sand in front of me where I'm shooting in my composition, because there's no footprints, there's no little marks at all. So it's just all smooth sand, just the natural ripples in the foreground. So I got to be mindful of that. So now I'm just going to kind of wait until the sun sets. And it looks like there's a lot of clouds towards the west, so I'm not too sure if I'm going to get any light in my scene. But hopefully I'll get a nice blue hour, to say the least. So I am already starting to take some pictures. It's still too early for sunset, but it's just such a nice view. And I'm debating on whether or not I should put on a polarizer and a graduated filter. The graduated filter will kind of bring down the sky a little bit, but I really don't need it because I'm able to get it all in one balanced exposure. I'm not blowing out any of the highlights or the shadows. But yeah, I'll see as the time goes on to maybe balance it a little bit more towards blue hour, but as of right now it's not necessary. And I will be focus stacking the whole thing from the front to the back, just because the foreground is so close to the lens. I want to get it sharp all the way throughout. But yeah, I'm really liking this image so far. I just hope that there's color in the sky where I'm looking, which I'm not too sure. So we're getting some really amazing light on these mountains to the left. So I just kind of switched my camera to the left a little bit, and now I'm taking an image of these. Oh, that's just, super nice. It's just breaking through the clouds. I wish it would break through and hit my scene here, but that's alright. I was able to adjust it. So just real quick, 1/6 of a second, f11, ISO 64. And now I'm getting some light on the mountains that were in my scene, which was nice. The original composition I was shooting. So I did adjust it a little bit. I did zoom in, just so I can kind of make the light a little more predominant. And the light here, it's hard to get it on camera, but it is changing just so subtly. As the sky lights up with some color towards the west, it's kind of reflecting that color on these dunes, and it's kind of changing the scene a little bit. So it's making it pretty nice. So I'm just keep taking pictures until there's no more light. And I completely forgot about my second composition, and the light's catching on the mountain behind there, so I might switch over and just see. This one's easy, just 1/4 of a second, f11, ISO 64. No need to focus stack because it is so far away from the lens. And then since I keep switching around from that composition to this one, and I kind of keep zooming out and adjusting it as the light was changing, I don't think I'll be able to do a time blend, which is fine just because, I don't think it would need a time blend because I don't think we're going to catch much light in the sky here. But I guess we'll see because we still have about a few minutes until sunset, and the sky behind me is lighting up nice, bright yellow, yellowish orange, but in front of me is just a darkish blue. And then I was so close to getting my second composition with the light behind me. If you can see there is the bushes, and then just right there is that light. So if the bushes were over just a little bit farther to the right, I would be able to get that light in the sky in the composition. Well, that's all for the light. We're not going to get any more dramatic light in the sky. I think I've already shot through the best conditions. So yeah, came away with a couple good pictures, so that's good. Yeah, again, just an amazing location here. I'm going to spend about the next 2 to 3 nights just wandering around Death Valley and taking some pictures. Well, I'm going to wrap the video up here, so I hope you enjoyed. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you later.